Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a very strong team for the Ultra League, and well, we don't actually have a singular buff from the season on this team. I kind of wanted to give it a try because I knew there was one Pokemon that I was so interested in that I kind of want to build a team around, and it's not Cresselia. Cresselia would actually have a buff if I wanted to use it because this Pokemon has access to the fast move of Psycho Cut. But for the team that we have here, and we're going to talk about this a little bit as well, I actually do enjoy Confusion a little bit more. This was a move up on purpose basically that I went for Confusion instead of the Psycho Cut. Psycho Cut generates energy quite a bit faster, got buffed a little bit with the damage output this season, but I knew that this was not my main Pokemon for the thumbnail anyway, and for the title, my main Pokemon is currently on the screen. My main Pokemon is Ampharos, and in my opinion, this is currently the best Pokemon in the Ultra League. That's my opinion. Sorry, like that. I do think this is the best Pokemon in the Ultra League. Is currently Ampharos, and for good reason. It is the most versatile by literally a landslide. Like, this Pokemon has potential against basically everything that's not a Guzzlord. Like, Guzzlord is the only Pokemon really. Okay, also I guess Zygarde complete is also a bit more difficult because you don't have the Volt Switch damage against this Pokemon, but there's practically next to no Pokemon that really destroys it. Here, this is one of the worst matchups as well here with the Fortress, which was able to debuff us before, but we still get a shield and we're gonna get them kind of low, so like I'm quite alright with it. But generally speaking, why is this team so interesting? Because it's going to be better this season thanks to the Mud Slap nerf, and so Gaston is not really that common. But even then, we're going to have grass type coverage in the lead. We're going to have the Say-Sop that is going to be able to bait out ground types, but still has grass type coverage and Trailblaze. And then we have in the back our closer, which is going to be the Novan Stunfisk here, which is honestly very, very strong in this meta. It's not getting up to 2500 CP. You sometimes see it a little bit with the damage output, but it's honestly such a strong Pokemon just because of the spamminess, the insane amount of bulk that this Pokemon has. And with this thing is just crazy. Like, it's crazy, and Cresselia was a fun Pokemon to run. And here, for example, we're actually in an interesting position because Electric was strong against both of the opponent's Pokemon. But I'm actually gonna keep my Stunfisk here instead of going for a charge move, because I was hoping that thanks to the confusion damage, I might be able to do something funny. Go for a Grass Knot here and go for the full farm down now. And this is the thing. This is why I went ahead and went for confusion instead of the Psycho Cut. It gives you opportunities like this one where you can actually farm them down instead of relying to go for charge move damage. And I would have never been able to farm down with Psycho Cut even after the damage boost on it. And so I'm quite happy that this worked out so beautifully, and we can move on to the next opponent. Again, a matchup like this here, Annihilate is going to be a Pokemon I expect more often. I do think it's a Pokemon that we're going to see quite often here today as well. And Confusion just gonna give you more immediate pressure. You're just gonna be in a better position. Here against Corviknight, I decided to swap out into my Stunfisk. I'm not too sure if this is the right call. The thing is, here I'm going to have super effective coverage with both my fast as well as my charge moves, while with my Corviknight I'm forced to go for Brutal Swing, which is not as ideal. If you want to go for charge move damage, the fast move damage is adding up a bit faster, of course, but we're also a bit furrier, so like in general, I think this is like the right play that I did here. The issue is they're going to reveal that they have the Jelson in the back, but I know they have Annihilate, which I'm fine with my lead. I know there's no the Jelson here, where I'm going to try to get the shield from them, which I do. Okay, that's fine. But I just kind of need to get them low. I need to get them low, and I need to get shields. That's basically my main objectives here. Shadow Wall's coming in. We are going to go for 2 fast moves here, which is giving us kind of perfect timing. But they go into the Corviknight. Great catch from the opponent, which is a bit annoying because now it is going to be Ampharos against the rest of this world, as now we're going to see the Annihilate coming back in. We can go for a Brutal Swing, which is going to force them to either use a shield early or get a lot of damage onto them. They take the damage, and now they are in confusion range. And this is kind of what I wanted to have. I wanted them to be low enough that I can just confusion them down. They stop out here into the Jellicent. I can punish them as well with a Grass Knot immediately. They still have their shield, which they're going to utilize now. But they are going to be low now. They're going to be low on both the Annihilate as well as on their Jellicent. And so I'm actually in not the worst position, as I can farm them down. I'm going to leave with a charge move, and I'm going to leave here this battle with all 3 of my Pokemon remaining and beating them up quite easily. After winning the lead as well, though, like that's something that definitely helped you a lot. Another reason why I just like Confusion is here in matchup, for example, like this, you're just going to have more fast move pressure immediately. So if you have battles that are drawn out a little bit longer, which especially in the Ultra League, and especially with a bulky Pokemon like Cresselia, you're just going to be able to add up your stab fast move damage so much nicer over a long period of time. So I just enjoyed more. It's a personal preferences. So here, this is by the way a little bit of an awkward matchup. But the reason is because they actually do outspeed me. They do get to their moves a little bit faster than I do because the change, especially towards the Mud Slap, actually Mud Bomb actually kind of annoys here a little bit. Mud Bomb is now 5 more energy. But I'm going to be able to get the perfect Ender Charge done here, which allows me to go for the full farm down. They're going to go back into the GlitchxCity, and I'm going to keep my energy, hoping that they have something in the back where I can use the rest of my team as well. They go for the Phantom now, and they reveal that they have the Empoleon here left. That is going to be a bit awkward, because now I am locked in this matchup still. I will take some solid damage from them, and I actually decided to use a shield because I felt like that this is my best answer to the GlitchxCity, and I kind of need to keep my answers here, right? And so I go for another Grass Knot, hope they would shield. They luckily do, because now I can go into my Ampharos and go for the farm down. Look at the damage output here from the Ampharos fast move. Like, one more wall switch damage is coming through there as well. And yes, they do a lot of damage here, don't get me wrong. But the fast move is going to be resisted now, and I can go for the Brutal Swings. And maybe I can even go for another Brutal Swing afterwards. But they have a charge move stored now. It's very likely going to be the Sand Tomb, which should knock us out from this position. It does. And it's down to Cresselia. But again, we have that fast move pressure. This is where you shouldn't be really blinded by the Psycho Cut boost. I do think that, especially in the Ultra League, confusion damage just adds up so nicely that it doesn't make sense to go for anything else. Here, I am going to be able to utilize still the energy on my Stunfisk and knock out the opponent's GlitchxCity, and we are actually in such a perfect position because now that Empoleon has nothing to do anymore and we can win the battle. Next up, Greedent. Alright, Greedent is going to be a Pokemon that could have Crunch, could be super effective damage coming in, but it's very likely not. But again, I do feel like that if you have the fast move pressure, you're just going to end up in those situations a little bit in a better position than if you have the Psycho Cut. But here, I guess, I don't know, like, I actually want to check out real quick on the side because it's going to be a long matchup anyway. How does Greedent against Cresselia go with the different fast moves of Cresselia? You will not see it here right now, but I can literally just put it in because it's such a long matchup that it doesn't really matter. Cresselia against Greedent with a Psycho Cut. Greedent going to be able to win this in the once and in the 2-shield scenario. And with the Confusion, which I don't know actually, by the way, I don't know the results, as you see at the top, I actually win it in the 1-shield scenario still, and it's way closer in the 2-shield. So it's just generally considered to be better in neutral scenarios to take long. And this is something that I just think is more worth it than Psycho Cut, which gives you more energy, but it depends really on the team. For this team, I just think that Confusion is the stronger fast move on Cresselia. Florges comes in here against us. Not the ideal Pokemon, I don't have the best answers to Florges, but I'm going to be able to at least utilize still the Trailblaze, get a lot of damage onto them. I can let the move go because it's a CMP tie. Makes no sense to shield this move up, and we can go back into our Cresselia as I reveal their final Pokemon being the Moltres. And of course, we have a very solid answer here in Stunfisk. The thing is, Moltres 99% of the time is not running the move Payback. They're usually running Brave Bird and Fly. And if they run the normal moveset, then we hardwall the charge moves. And this is what we see here. Fly is going to come through. It's going to be a resisted hit. And even if they go for the Brave Bird here, it doesn't actually really matter because this is now going to be, yeah, another Fly anyway. It would have not knocked us out here at all. It would have never knocked us out. The Discharge comes through. They're going to get the shield. And they're going to stop out here. I predicted that. I am catching them here as well off guard with going for hopefully no shield exactly. As I think I still survive a hit. I do still survive a hit with Cresselia. Cresselia's bulk is, by the way, absolutely ridiculous. It's the bulk is kind of legendary, I think, in this meta. It's kind of crazy. But now we're going to be able to win the battle. The opponent forfeits. And we can move on to the next opponent. Empoleon in the lead. Of course, we stop out straight away. We have good answers in the back. And in comes Draco. That is going to be kind of more of the worst possible scenarios for myself. By the way, which I didn't actually say with this team. I did not realize while playing the team on how well this team actually did. I won, I think, 88% of my battles with this team. It was kind of fantastic. Like, this team was absolutely fantastic, and I didn't really expect it at all. Because we have, like, here, we have, like, good Pokemon, don't get me wrong. But I just want to play a fun team around the Ampharos, by the way. This is also in my top team video for the Ultra League, if you want to check that one out as well. Here we're in a bad position because the opponent has still both of their shield left. I can go for a Brutal Swing. I'm going to be able to get them kind of low. But in comes the Belly Bolt now. Actually, I get the knockout, which is kind of cool. And Belly Bolt is going to be a bit of a pain. I have a good answer in the back here at least. But I actually stop out of into this one, which doesn't make sense now. Actually, it really doesn't make sense. The thing is, I was scared of Empoleon. But I don't feel like I needed to be that scared of Empoleon. I feel like it would have been worth it for me to just sacrifice my Ampharos. And then have at least alignment. Because if I shut down Belly Bolt, it makes way more sense. I just misplayed this battle quite a bit. Yeah, I just misplayed this better. Sorry, this is my fault. Belly Bolt only learns electric type charge moves basically, by the way. So like if I would have not stopped out of there, I would have won this battle very likely. And they stop out here now, and now they actually get something out of their Belly Bolt. But what I could have done basically there instead is I could have just got the shield still from the Empoleon, then swapped out into my Cresselia. Cresselia would have been able to play very easily against the Empoleon. Still would have done some solid fast move damage, still have some neutral damage with the Grass Knot. It's not a good matchup. They still would have easily knocked us out there, but we would have had definitely some more play there, and we would have got more out of it. But now, look at this. They are very likely going to have the Zap Cannon here now at this point. They do go for the Zap Cannon. It doesn't knock us out, but they got to stop out here into their Empoleon. And while maybe I'm going to be able to knock them out here, we are going to see here the Trailblaze coming through. This is going to knock them out for sure. I might not be able to knock out the opponent's Belly Bolt, as a 1-volt switch is just not enough. They saw it with a few HP left. And yes, I would have won this if I just played it better. I should have not stopped out of there. A lot of Empoleon in very bad matchups for ourselves. So like that's at least showcasing again on what this team can do, because we see here very, very bad matchups for ourselves. In comes Ampharos against our Ampharos, and as we get the charge move damage off early here, like the Trailblaze, we should be able to realign ourselves nearly guaranteed, as we have just more pressure early on, which they just don't have. And now Brutal Swing comes through, we're going to knock them out here, and we have alignment, and alignment is key. Especially with a Zygarde in here, which is going to be a hard counter to both Pokemon in my backline. But now I can go still for a Trailblaze, get a little bit of damage in, and I'm happy with that. They have, though, access also to Crunch on the Zygarde very likely, which would be super effective against our Cresselia. Here is one of the rare occasions where I think that actually Psychic Cut would be a little bit better, because it would allow us to go for the Moonblast faster. But yeah, we can't have it all. Crunch comes through. Luckily, we don't get the 20% debuff chance onto ourselves. And they swap out, which allows me to swap out as well. And I let this move go. This is going to be here Hydro Cannon. We are going to try our best to go for a Discharge against the opponent as well to try to knock them. But let's see how things are going to go. We're going to have, okay, Discharge coming through. That's going to be fine. We're going to get them low. But we're going to force to use a shield here because we need to still get rid of the opponent's Pokemon here. Anything else wouldn't work out. We have another Discharge coming in. This is going to allow us to get the KO, and in comes Zygarde here. I will actually let the move go. It's going to be a Crunch. I can still survive, and I can go for the Mud Bomb against them. We have to kind of play the long game here, because we just need to chip them. We just need to chip them along the way. I should have went for an extra 2 fast moves here, by the way, because I need to go to 2 Grass Nuts anyway, I think, at this point. So like that was a bit of a mistake, but they do the same mistake in the, like directly afterwards. Like it's not that bad. I can go for the Grass Knot now, so they're going to be shieldless. But now I would still need to reach a Mud Bomb with my Stunfisk, and they still need to knock me out. But actually, yeah, they go for a charge move here. I decide to use a shield. If they go for another charge move, I should be okay. Please don't debuff. They don't debuff, and I can go for the Grass Knot. Knock them out, win the battle. Long game there, don't get me wrong, but that's the Ultra League for you. You like to see it, and we can move on to the next opponent. We have Credilli. Credilli against our Cresselia. So, our backline is quite weak. Electric is of course resisted by Grass, so we don't want to have our backline against it. And we can just try to utilize our Cresselia the best way possible, by running the fast moves and trying to punish them here as well with those Moonblast. I can take hits like it's nothing with Cresselia, which is fantastic. And I'm going to try to utilize it here, going for perfect fast move timing all the time basically here as well. And they're very likely to do the same here by going for one fast move, go for that charge move, exactly. But now, I am going to swap out. I am going to swap out into my Ampharos, because I should be able to outspeed them, and I can. I'm going to be able to go for the Brutal Swing that's going to knock them out here if they go into no shield. If they're shield, this just allows me to farm them down with any of the Pokemon later on. Either the Ampharos, or the Cresselia, or the Stunfisk. They're not going to get to any more move. And there goes swap out here into Mandibuzz. And we are in a position now where yes, we're debuffed, and yes, of course, we buffed ourselves back up to normal. I have actually a very good answer in the back that I like more than my Ampharos in the Stunfisk. Stunfisk is the stronger matchup here, because Stunfisk can take the hits easier, and it can utilize the fast move energy that it generates a bit better as well, because you can overfarm. And here, the sub button to the Credilli, as I said before, it's just basically energy for us. And we can now go up against the Jellicent from the opponent. And now they have 2 more Pokemon that are weak to Electric. And this is basically it. This is why this team is so fantastic. There are currently a lot of teams running around that are very weak to Electric type Pokemon in the current Ultra League meta. Ampharos has, with the charge move that it has and the fast move that it has, perfect coverage against the current meta, is very good against a lot of neutral matchups. can boost itself up, has crazy damage out with the Volt Switch. It's a best Pokemon in my opinion currently just because of the coverage it has, because of the current standpoint in the meta it has, with the weaknesses being nerfed. It's such a strong Pokemon. I would really recommend you to give this team a try. I went super positive with this team. Yeah, it's fantastic. Ampharos is the best Pokemon currently in my opinion. This is gonna be it. See you then. Bye bye.